Hey guys. So, um, welcome to my channel. Yeah. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I'm Victoria-Monique, and I'm here to give you, to love you back into your fullness. Maybe you don't need that and you're just here for listening in some wonderful information. Maybe you're looking for a manifestation, mindset, life, whatever coach. I can do it all. I'm every woman. If you're interested in coaching with me, then check out the description and then you see what the options are. Today, I am going to read to you from the Neville Goddard reader. And it's chapter 7, Be ye wise as serpents. And I find this super fascinating, and that's why I'm making this video for you, because I will also enter the video. I will edit the video in this video. I have a tattoo of a snake, and I have snake piercings, and I've always been really fascinated with snakes. And then it took me a while before I had the guts to tattoo the snake on my arm. I've had visions of snakes many times. I've had dreams of snakes many times. And one time I even dreamt of a snake that I would meet a couple of days later in Portugal while dog sitting for a friend. So snakes have been a red thread. Is that also English? It is in Dutch. It has been a thread throughout my existence. And I don't read books in chronological, like I just open it. I open a book and then see what the message is and see what inspires me and see what captures me. And this time, because I don't know, like I have not read this whole thing. No. I don't think I ever will. Who knows, maybe I will. Maybe a version of me is like, yeah, you definitely will, because I love all this shit. And well, a version of me already has. But in any case, so I opened it at this chapter and I started reading and I thought, fuck, this is really interesting. So that's why I decided to read it for you. Make yourself a cup of tea, pause the video, and then, yeah, sit back and relax. Chapter 7 from Seed Time and Harvest. Be ye wise as serpents. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. The serpent's ability to form its skin by ossifying a portion of itself, and its skill in shedding each skin as it outgrew it, caused man to regard this reptile as a symbol of the power of endless growth and self-reproduction. Man is told, therefore, to be wise as the serpent and learn how to shed his skin, his environment, which is his solidified self. Man must learn how to lose him and let go, how to put off the old man, how to die to the old and yet know, like the serpent, that he shall not surely die. Man has not learned as yet that all that is outside his physical body is also part of himself, that his world and all the conditions of his life are but the outpicturing of his state of consciousness. This is really interesting because this morning I was listening to a message from the council and they say exactly the same, that everything is an extension of ourselves. How's that for a message that wants to be really understood? When he knows this truth, he will stop the futile struggle of self-contention and, like the serpent, let the old go and grow a new environment. Man is immortal, therefore he must die endlessly, for life is a creative idea. It can only find itself in changing forms. Tagore. Tagore. I have no idea who this dude is, but he's quoted in this chapter. In ancient times, serpents were also associated with the guardianship of treasure or wealth. The injunction to be wise as serpents is the advice to man to awaken the power of his subtilized body, his imagination, that he, like the serpent, may grow and outgrow, die and yet not die, for from such deaths and resurrections alone, shedding the old and putting on the new, shall come fulfillment of his dreams and the finding of his treasures. As the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made, even so, imagination is more subtle than any creature of the heavens which the Lord God had created. Imagination is the creature that was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope. For we are saved by hope. But hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for it? But if we hope for that we see not, then do we have patience wait for it. Although the outer or natural man of the senses is interlocked with his environment, the inner or spiritual man of imagination is not thus interlocked. If the interlocking were complete, the charge to be wise as serpents would be in vain. Were we completely interlocked with our environment, we could not withdraw our attention from the evidence of the senses and feel ourselves into the situation of our fulfilled desire, in hope that that unseen state would solidify as our new environment. But there is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. The spiritual body of imagination is not interlocked with man's environment. The spiritual body can withdraw from the outer man of sense and environment and imagine itself to be what it wants to be. And if it remains faithful to the vision, imagination will build for man a new environment in which to live. This is what is meant by the statement, I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. The place that is prepared for you need not be a place in space. It can be health, wealth, companionship, anything that you desire in this world. Now, how is the place prepared? You must first construct as lifelike a representation as possible of what you would see and hear and do if you were physically present and physically moving about in that place. Then, with your physical body immobilized, you must imagine that you are actually in that place and are seeing and hearing and doing all that you would see and hear and do if you were there physically. This you must do over and over again until it takes on the tones of reality. When it feels natural, the place has been prepared as the new environment for your outer or physical self. Now you may open your physical eyes and return to your former state. The place is prepared, and where you have been in imagination, there you shall be in the body also. How this imagined state is realized physically is not the concern of you, the natural or outer man. The spiritual body, on its return from the imagined state to its former physical state, created an invisible bridge of incident to link the two states. Although the curious feeling that you were actually there and that the state was real is gone as soon as you open your eyes upon the old familiar environment. Nevertheless, you are haunted with the sense of a double identity, with the knowledge that there is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. When you, the natural man, have had this experience, you will go automatically across the bridge of events, which leads to the physical realization of your invisibly prepared place. This concept that man is dual and that the inner man of imagination can dwell in future states and return to the present moment with a bridge of events to link the two clashes violently with the widely accepted view about the human personality and the cause and nature of phenomena. Such a concept demands a revolution in current ideas about the human personality and about space, time, and matter. The concept that man, consciously or unconsciously, determines the conditions of life by imagining himself into these mental states leads to the conclusion that this supposedly solid world is a construction of mind, a concept which at first common sense rejects. However, we should remember that most of the concepts which common sense at first rejected, man was afterward forced to accept. These never-ending referrals of judgment, these never-ending referrals of judgment which experience have forced upon man, led Professor Whitehead to write, whoever that may be, "Heaven knows what seeming nonsense may not tomorrow be demonstrated truth. The creative power in man sleeps and needs to be awakened. Awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead." Wake from the sleep that tells you the outer world is the cause of the conditions of your life. Rise from the dead past and create a new environment. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? Of God. Okay, I'm going to do that one again. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? The Spirit of God in you is your imagination, but it sleeps and needs to be awakened in order to lift you off the bar of the senses where you have so long lain stranded. The boundless possibilities open to you as you become wise as serpents is beyond measure. Oh, okay. Sorry, not sorry. I'm going to do this one again, yeah? The boundless possibilities open to you as you become wise as serpents is beyond measure. You will select the ideal conditions you want to experience and the ideal environment you want to live in. Experiencing these states in imagination until they have sensory vividness, you will externalize them as surely as the serpent now externalizes its skin. Damn. Okay, a couple of more pages, guys. After you have outgrown After you have outgrown them, then you will cast them off as easily as the snake throws her enameled skin. The more abundant life, the whole purpose of creation, cannot be saved through death and resurrection. God desired form, so he became man, and it is not enough for us to recognize his spirit at work in creation. We must see his work in form and say that it is good, even though we outgrow the form forever and ever. He leads through widening chambers of delight to where throbs rapture near an end that A resides, because his touch is infinite and lends a yonder to all ends. And I, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me, all men unto me. If I be lifted from the evidence of the senses to the state of consciousness, I desire to realize and remain in that state until it feels natural. I will form that state around me and all men will see it. I love that. But how to persuade man, this is true, that imaginative life is the only living, that assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the way to the more abundant life and not the compensation of the escapist. That is the problem. So a side note here, if you have problems to feel yourself in the wish fulfilled, do not worry, do not fret. It is as simple as just repeating words. And I made a video about this, like the power of words. There is a collective consciousness that has given meaning to words. So the word love is loaded with everything that everyone has ever thought and will ever think about the word love. The same is true for the word green leaf. The same is true for the word wanted, wealthy, successful. So if you don't feel it yet, it doesn't matter. Really, it doesn't. You can just repeat the words. Repetition is what is important. Just like when you do one bicep curl, your biceps are not going to grow, my friend. One sit-up, Yes, if you're really good at imagining, you can imagine your biceps growing from one bicep curl. And I think you know where I'm getting at. So repetition is your friend, my friend. Okay, let's go on. To see as the widening chambers of delight, what living in the realms of imagination means, to appreciate and enjoy the world, one must live imaginatively. One must dream and occupy his dream, then grow and outgrow the dream forever and ever. The unimaginative man, who will not lose his life on one level, that he may find it on a higher level, is nothing but a Lot's wife, a pillar of self-satisfied salt. Do you remember the story of Lot's wife? I'm going to mess it up just a tiny little, but I do have the gist. She looked back and turned into a pillar of salt, which means don't look at the past, go forward. Because when you look at the past, you turn into a pillar of salt. And who needs a pillar of salt unless you're cooking? But then you can't cook because you're salt. I'm really good at these analogies. Okay, where was I? Yes. On the other hand, those who refuse form as being unspiritual and who reject incarnation as separate from God are ignorant of the great mystery. Great is the mystery, God was manifest in the flesh. Your life expresses one thing and one thing only, your state of consciousness. Everything is dependent upon that. As you through the medium of imagination, assume a state of consciousness, that state begins to clothe itself in form. It solidifies around you as the serpent's skin ossifies around it. But you must be faithful to the state. Repetition. You must not go from state to state, but rather wait patiently in the one invisible state until it takes on form and becomes an objective fact. Okay, I'm going to interject here again. Wait patiently, fuck that. Do not wait patiently, because if you're waiting, it means you're like, okay, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? No, know it. Don't wait. No. Know that it's a done deal. Go on, do other things, and then focus back on it, on your desire. Go do the affirmations, whatever you do that feels good. Go do other things. Do not wait. Know that it is here. Yes? Neville, are you listening? Waiting is not a good idea, because waiting just creates more waiting. So no patient waiting. Enjoy it now. Be in the state. Come back to the state. Remind yourself of what the state is. Read it. Listen to it. Play it. Whatever you do, do not wait patiently, because you have it now. Okay, I think I make my point. Okay. Okay, yeah. He's speaking about patience now. I'm curious what will come. Patience is necessary, but patience will be easy after your first success in shedding the old and growing the new, for we are able to wait according as we have been rewarded by understanding in the past. Understanding is the secret of patience, so actually he's speaking about faith here. What natural joy and spontaneous delight lie in seeing the world not with, but as Blake says, through the eye. Imagine that you're seeing what you want to see and remain faithful to your vision. This is what I mean. Your imagination will make for itself a corresponding form in which to live. Okay, I think 2 more pages. Yes, 2 more pages. Then it's almost over and out, because I probably have something to say after. All things are made by imagination's power. Nothing begins except in the imagination of man. From within out is the law of the universe. As within, so without. And actually, I know it's as above, so below. There are 2 other tattoos that I have here. A 6 and a 9. It was actually first a 9. This is a 9 and that's a 6. There's a super funny story that goes with it that I won't tell you now. But so here it says, as within, so without. And for me, as above, so below is also a part of that. It's like it comes from the 7 Hermetic principles. And as within, so without means what you have going on in here, your consciousness, your state of being, is what is projected out into the world. So don't go fighting and dancing and playing and shouting and whatnot with shadows. Do it all in consciousness, in the silence of your own being, because that's where everything is created. Okay. Man turns outward in search for truth, but the essential thing is to look within. Truth is within ourselves. It takes no rise from outward things. Whatever you may believe, there is an inmost center in us all, where truth abides in fullness, and to know rather consists in opening out a way whence the imprisoned splendor may escape, than in effecting entry for a light, supposed to be without. Browning, Paracelsus. Don't know if you got it, I didn't, but I think it's just a very poetic way to describe as within, so without. I think you will be interested in an instance of how a young woman shed the skin of resentment and put on a far different kind of skin. The parents of this woman had separated when she was 6 6 years old and she had lived with her mother. She rarely saw her father, but once a year he sent her a $5 check for Christmas. This is probably a long time ago because I don't know what kids would say now if they would get a $5 check for Christmas. Following her marriage, he did increase the Christmas gift, to $10. After one of my lectures, she was dwelling on my statement that man's suspicion of another is only a measure of his own deceitfulness, and she recognized that she had been harboring resentment toward her father for years. That night, she resolved to let go of her resentment and put a fond reaction in its place. In her imagination, she felt she was embracing her father in the warmest way. She did it over and over again until she caught the spirit of her imaginary act, and then she fell asleep in a very contented mood. The following day, she happened to pass through the fur department of one of our large stores in California. This is definitely a long time ago, a fur department. For some time, she had been toying with the idea of having a new fur scarf, but felt she could not afford it. This time, her eye was caught by a stone marten scarf. Oh no! And she picked it up and tried it on. After feeling it and seeing herself in it, reluctantly she took off the scarf and returned it to the salesman, telling herself she could not afford it. As she was leaving the department, she stopped and thought, Neville tells we can have whatever we desire if we will only capture the feeling of already having it. In her imagination, she put the scarf back on, felt the reality of it, and went about her shopping, all the while enjoying the imagined wearing of it. This young woman never associated these two imaginary acts. In fact, she had almost forgotten what she had done until a few weeks later on Mother's Day, the doorbell rang unexpectedly. Checking out my hair here. Sorry. There was her father. As she embraced him, she remembered her first imaginary act. As she opened the package, because apparently he has a package that Neville forgot to mention. As she opened the package he had brought her, the first gift in these many years, she remembered her second imaginary action, for the box contained a beautiful stone marten scarf. Wow! Ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Pretty cool. Wanted to drop a mic, but then I thought against it because I dropped it once and now there's a dent in it. No, I'm going to refrain from any comment. I trust that this will bring you whatever it is that you need and much more. If you'd like to work with me, check out everything in the description. If not, I love you just the same. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.